What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Christian Hanna Horror here. Today we're talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, on this episode of Surviving the Sequels. May not have been the nightmare you would expect me to immediately go to, because there's other movies like The Dream Master and Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge, which I love. Nightmare on Elm Street 4 is one that I have not really talked a whole lot about, and upon rewatching this for this video, I've got some things I want to say. So get ready on this episode of Surviving the Sequels for A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. The first reason you guys should check out The Dream Master is the great director, RENNY HARLIN. Now, we know RENNY went on to do incredible things, but no one knew who this guy was at the time. The story of RENNY's persistence and due diligence is why he makes this list. RENNY was a guy from a foreign country who came over here to make his dreams come true as being a director. He had just done this really neat little movie called Prison, which had some actors that we know and love from the horror world. And he wanted the job for Nightmare 4. This guy was showing up at the main offices at New Line, knocking on Bob Shaye's door, trying to get an interview, trying to get a plea to get this job. And Bob Shaye would brush him to the side. Who is this guy? He smells, he's dirty, he looks broke, he looks poor, I can't understand what he's saying. But his due diligence and persistence finally got him the job. Whether it be that Bob Shaye really just couldn't find anybody else that he really wanted for the job, and that they had to get the movie out soon because of how the world was back then with horror movies, they decided to give the job to RENNY, and it was probably one of the best decisions for the franchise, because a Part 4 can easily break a franchise if this movie doesn't succeed at its highest level. So a lot of credit goes to RENNY HARLIN for taking this movie and giving it the vision that he gave it, because it is clearly one of the most identifiable looking Nightmare on Elm Street films in the franchise. The second reason you guys should check out Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 is they were using a formula that worked. Now, this is what I'm getting at. When you get to a movie like Dream Master, you took characters from the first movie with Heather Langenkamp's character and her dad. Then you introduced new characters in this movie, and you mesh them together, and you put them in a way that they just blend perfectly, and you genuinely care about what's going on with each and every character. Now, doing that is a very tough thing, so to try to do it twice seems impossible, but I gotta give it up to RENNY. The characters that he got in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 and mixed them with the characters from Part 3 blended pretty darn good in my opinion. Maybe not as pure as Part 3, but probably 90 to 95% as good in my opinion. By the time it gets to the end of this movie with Lisa Wilcox's character of Alice, you are all in, and you are ready to go on this journey with the character of Alice, who has also seemed to become a fan favorite of the franchise, and that's by no mistake, because Alice's character mixed perfectly in Part 4, and she took the movie by storm by the time you get to the third act of this. Third reason you guys should check the movie out is, actually, it's Tuesday night. Look, Patricia Arquette has become one of the biggest actors today. We see her in movies all the time. She had a long-lasting career, and we all know and love Patricia. So when Tuesday night came in to fill in the role that Patricia did not do for Part 4, it's interesting. It's interesting that this movie would happen with the script that it had. Usually you would think they would kind of just write that character off. But no, they decided to recast Patricia Arquette and got Tuesday night to do the job. Now, this is what I really like about Tuesday's performance. She didn't try to just be exactly like how Patricia was in Part 3. Granted, the circumstances were different. This is post-Dream Master. They're going back to normal life, so to speak. But what I liked about Tuesday was she carried herself very well in the film. She kind of had her shoulders a little bit higher. She was more confident than Patricia Arquette. Tuesday night also had some other things she brought to this movie. That great song, Running from This Nightmare, that you hear in the opening of the movie, that's Tuesday night. She's also a singer-songwriter. That is awesome. So you get this whole other layer with Tuesday. And to be quite honest with you, I think I like Tuesday night's performance just as much as Patricia's. I think she did that good of a job, and she brought herself to the role, and that's really all you can ask from an actor. So I give a lot of credit to Tuesday night, and I loved seeing her in A Nightmare on Elm Street 4. The fourth reason you guys should check this movie out is it's the bright nightmare. What do I mean by that? You know, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 is a little unique because a lot of the movie seems to kind of take place during the day, especially some of the dreams and nightmares. Even when you're inside of them, they're brightly lit. You got Freddy popping out at the diner. You got Freddy popping out as a nurse at school. In the dream where he says, "Wanna suck face?" And we're like in the middle of the day. It's just very interesting. Need I mention the scene where Freddy's putting sunglasses on at the beach? It's just the bright nightmare. You know, I used to always just not dig that, and while it's still not my most favorited thing about the franchise, you gotta give RENNY credit for doing something extremely different. Imagine being in the pitch black theater and then you're seeing Freddy on the bright beach. It seems like such a high contrast. It's unique, it looks great, and Freddy, while he's not as scary as he used to be, you gotta love him in this movie. He absolutely is fantastic. So The Bright Nightmare, it's a movie that has this element that you don't really see in any other of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and makes Part 4 very unique. And while it could have been hokey and silly, it was done with such fortitude and great special effects makeup work that The Bright Nightmare is actually kind of cool. And the fifth reason you guys should check this out should be no surprise, the great Robert Englund. Robert is always willing to take Freddy to somewhat of a next level, while keeping with the pureness of what the character once was. He's not afraid to let Freddy say a little bit more. He's not afraid to let Freddy do a little bit more, and he's not afraid to let Freddy have a little bit more of a personality. It's no argument that Robert Englund is 100% in fact Freddy Krueger. There may not ever be more Nightmare on Elm Street reboots or more entries because of how identifiable the character is to Robert. We all know what happened in the remake with Jackie Earle Haley. It probably didn't matter who did the role or how good they tried to do it. The fans just would not accept it. You could say that a lot of these fans just like the original franchise, but then again, Robert is just that identifiable. I mean, he really is Freddy in a different way that some of the actors were Jason. You could argue that Kane Hodder is the favorite of Jason, but still, it's a guy under a mask. You can still get away with using somebody else and have a great performance. But Robert is without a doubt Freddy, whether I like it or not. So with that being said, Robert Englund is 100% Freddy. So that's 5 reasons you guys should go back and give Dream Master a chance, because I did, and I gotta be honest with you, it really is good. This movie made the most money, I believe, out of all the movies up until maybe Freddy vs. Jason, and it's for a reason. This movie is actually done incredibly well. The kills are 100% unique, and it's the Bright Nightmare. It's very interesting. You've got great special effects work. This is at the prime of prosthetic makeup effects, and this movie showcases that to no end. So there we go, guys. 5 reasons again why you should check out the movie. This is Christian Henna Horror. Please let me know why you love Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, or maybe not be a fan of it. Drop a comment below to let me know. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. So ding the bell so you always know when these episodes get uploaded. Check out the description for Teespring and other great things like that. But until next time, this is Christian Henna Horror.